A lot of people talking about resetting for the new year, making a vision board, all that jazz. But let me ask you a question. When you hear the word reset, do you feel hopeful or exhausted? If you're a woman in midlife, you are juggling family, work, hormones going up and down like that, tiredness, especially as we just finished the festive season, right? We don't need anything else that makes us feel overwhelmed. So today, what I want to talk about is not the kind of reset, new habits, new routines that all the influencers are talking about. This is really distinct. It's for us as women over 50 so that we can honour everything we've carried this past year and helps us move forward, steadier and clearer. Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Marv. I'm in my 50s and this is a space where we refuse to let midlife and menopause derail us physically, mentally or emotionally. And also we're not going to let society define us either, okay? And I used to think that resetting was about me finding new motivation again, keep going, work harder. And if I didn't, there was something wrong with me, but that's not the case. Because what we actually need is space and time to stop, to breathe and reflect. What I see most women doing, and a lot of women in midlife, me included, some of my friends too, you think about your new goals, your new dreams, without processing what the last year has actually taken out of you. You can't do anything until you figure that out first, especially when menopause, the night sweats, the lack of sleep, the fatigue has all been in the mix as well. So this is all about resetting in terms of calming ourselves before we get aligned to figure out what is going to go on our vision board. If you want to fast forward to your vision board as well, I've got a video on that coming up. By the end of this video, you'll have got a 15-minute reset practice. It is brilliant if you are stuck or you're feeling disconnected from what you want. We're going to get grounded. It's going to help you regain some clarity. We're going to be retreating very far back from self-criticism, which is something that we all do. I do it all the time. And then get us into a position to approach our vision boarding from a position of wisdom instead of pressure. Nobody needs any more pressure, okay? Okay, let me get comfortable for this. Here's a little story. So when I did a career change into academia, great job, massive workload, and I was really feeling the pressure, but I did not say anything. I didn't complain. I kept working, but instead I get exhausted. Rage and frustration grows like a monster inside of me. I didn't blow up at work. I blew up at home. Great husband's like, what the hell's going on, Marv? And that pressure is the trouble. The pressure is the problem. And what was really tough to let go of was the fact that I've always been a high achiever, sharp, confident, all the rest of it. And I was thinking, why am I not able to hold it together? Because in my 20s, in my 30s, I could do it. But now I thought, what's gone wrong with me? And I didn't realise it was perimenopause, okay, on top of workload, stress, all the rest of it. And blaming myself was the problem. So we're going to start with this reset framework, which is grace, recognise, acknowledge, compassion and envision. Now, what I'm definitely not saying is from a place of theory, but I had my own personal stop moment. On TikTok, I talked about the time when I was going to my academic job and within seconds, I almost fainted in the shop and had to grab onto a fridge because I thought I was going to collapse in a store. That was my personal, what the heck are you doing, Marv? And the thing is, it's not about just feeling tired. You've got to be strategic. Grounding is being strategic. And the thing is, there's research from Yale University that shows that actually the more and more we push ourselves, the harder it is for our brains to be steady and calm. And actually it means that the more we push ourselves, the more anxious and the more tired we feel. And the thing is, it's like when you use your phone and you see that actually you've used your phone all day, you haven't got your charger, you've got 2% battery left, and yet you're still trying to get the best out of it before the battery dies. You know exactly what happens. It's the same with our bodies. We just got to keep pushing ourselves all the time. And I know what you're saying. You're thinking, Marv, I have not got time for 30 seconds for breathing exercises, all the rest of it. I've got a list as long as my arm to try and sort things out before I go back to work. But you know the saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So find 30 seconds to breathe, to dysregulate the nervous system, and let's make that grounding the start of your 5-step reset process. Now we're grounded, let's talk about recognising what's gone on. And this is where most of us as women over 50 underestimate ourselves. So we've got to ask ourselves, what did the last year require of me? Think about this. And it's not about what did I achieve, not achieve. You want to ask yourself, what did I survive this year? How did I adapt to survive this year? What did midlife and menopause ask of me? And how did I respond? And we always have these conversations with our best friends, don't we? With our girlfriends going like, she's been through terrible trauma. And she'll say, you know, I've been through terrible life situation that she's been through. And you say to her, how the heck did you get through? Okay, so you ask your friend that question with grace. So afford the same grace to yourself and recognize that. So grab a book, write it down in the journal, and read that through and just acknowledge, what have I survived? How have I adapted? What did midlife, what did menopause, what did life in general ask of me? And how did I do it? Because really, when was the last time that you did that? Just acknowledging what you have battled through, overcome, that you've kind of made your way through, and recognize that you've done it. And yes, give yourself a pat on the back for actually doing it, because we don't do it enough. What did you win at? What did you succeed at? And this is without blame as well. What did you get through? And it might not have been the way that you wanted to do it. It might not be, as you see it, the perfect way. There is no perfect way. But let's track the wins, right? Track all the wins from last year. And we're going to start tracking our wins for next year as well. And this is about acknowledging, because we are old enough now, we're in our 50s, we're wise enough, we're grown enough to recognise that we've had to twist and turn, we've had to duck and dive, we've had to pivot. So how have we shown up in a different version? How have we evolved? Think about the ways in which you have become more resilient. Maybe you've had to put up boundaries. Maybe you've had to be more patient. Maybe you have still been functioning even though you've been exhausted, but you have managed it. Just think about how you have evolved and acknowledge that and appreciate that as a win. It's not a failure either. And I'm saying this, but I'm a devil at doing it myself. You know, I've been struggling this last year in trying to see some of the things that haven't gone right as not just a failure of me, but I've been more appreciative of the context, and still a work in progress. Okay, I'm still a work in progress. And if you want to track your wins, click the link below. I've got a free track your wins file for you to download. Write all those things down. So tell me, what's the thing that you're most proud of this year? Because we don't shout about them loud enough. And we are in the room here to practice screeching from the rooftops. I'll share mine. I've won a couple of awards this year, very proud. But also next week, my alma mater, my old university, is going to give me an honorary doctorate for services to journalism, which is... So tell me a comment. Listen, let me read you a quote. It's a brilliant quote from Maya Angelou, right? And she said, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it's gone through to achieve that beauty." This is what we've got to do. It's what we're doing all the time. We are transforming, and actually we are queens at transforming. That's why I think we're in our queen era. We're actually queens of transforming, and we've got to acknowledge that. I bet you're like me. There'll be things that you forget. Like, I've had a year where I've been forgetting girlfriends' birthdays, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with me? But that's not a personal flaw. I'm beginning to realise that menopause affects my brain. Sometimes I can't even string sentences together. Sometimes I can't even remember words. And what I've realised is that actually, let's twist this. This is not a personal flaw. This is a transformation. This is part of life. So recognise that. And we're planning vision boards in a whole new way as well. Again, not the way all the younger influencers are telling us. Totally different way that suits us, that works for us and our menopausal brains. And all because you just can't design a future, when you're at war with yourself, when you are berating yourself, when you are telling yourself off, it's just not going to help any of us move forward. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, Marv, it's all right for you. You're a coach, you're on the telly, you've got your life sorted. It doesn't matter, whatever the level of success that you see another person has, it doesn't separate us from the fact that we are all going through the same things. The brain fog, the loss of concentration, the night sweats. I mean, I'm sitting on this hotel bed, working away from home. Under this duvet I've got to flat back these sheets when I finish doing this video because the sheets are soaking wet from my night sweats last night. Thing is, we just got to decide, are we going to feel ashamed about what we've done, or are we actually going to form strategies out of what we've done and what we've learned from, and how we can make sure that next year is better than last, not fixing ourselves, just going with the way that we are transforming. Let's shift to compassion now. When brain fog hit me, I was like, yeah, this is incompetence, right? Until I learned and knew better. I was in perimenopause, me becoming a bit more emotional, feeling more vulnerable, not a weakness, low motivation, not laziness. You can label all of those three things as possibly due to declining estrogen in our bodies. But the first thing we do is we go, oh, it's us, there's something wrong, we're failing. And we've got to stop doing that. We've got to make sure that we are more compassionate with each other. And what's really tough, of course, is there's a whole load of information out there about menopause and all the rest of it. And we just need to educate ourselves a bit more, really. And it's the same with the car. You know, the warning light comes on in the car. We don't just keep driving. We've got to work out what's going on. Same with me. I was like, I don't know what's going on with my body. And then I started investigating and started teaching myself more and learning and listening and watching doctors and going, that's what's happening to me. Okay, it's not my fault, it's my body. It's a natural transition. So what I'm going to do is work out how I can help myself. We cannot be vision boarding. We cannot be thinking about new goals, dreams and ambitions from a point of self-criticism, because then we're going to be setting goals that, oh, well, I'm not sure whether I'm not going to do that because I didn't do very well last year. And you're not going to progress towards them if you're already thinking about how rubbish you were last year. So this is why we're going to have a new approach to how we think about what we want out of life next year. And now we're getting into Envision, one step closer to vision boarding. And Envision is part of our reset, the reset that is for us and our menopausal brains. Given what I know now about my body, my energy levels, and my priorities in life, call it my purpose, my why, what do I feel like I am aligning myself towards? Because all of those things work, right? You have to think about those before you even sit down and work out what you want out of next year. I sound quite like a school teacher, don't I? I sound like I'm back in the classroom. Sorry, I don't mean to. I suppose the language that I'm using here, or the tone that I'm using here, is a tone that I know I need to use on myself, which is, come on, girl, come on. This is not going to derail us. We are going to make the improvements that we want in our lives. And it is not, I keep saying it, it's not about fixing ourselves. And really, this is a point where we have got to dare to dream, dare to imagine. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you know what, Marv? I don't even know what I want out of life anymore. Anything I actually did want is right at the back of the cupboard because of all the pressures that you have from other people that are around you in life. Work, aging parents, caring for them, kids, grandkids, just other people's priorities are getting in the way of yours. But that's okay. That's why we're doing the reset. Because right now, you need to clear the decks, do the other 4 steps, the grace, the recognize, the acknowledge, the compassion, and this one, to hear what you need, to stop and listen to yourself so that you know what you need. So let's shake things up a bit. Let's have some affirmations. I am capable, even in transition. I'm valuable, even when my body's changing. I'm not behind. I am recalibrating. And even with menopause, and even when you're not feeling clear, what we've absolutely got to stop and do is to remind ourselves that we have done very well this year. Even though you might feel it's been a hideous year, you've done well because you've survived it. because we've all done better this year than we realised. We have been through stress, trauma, menopause, even with the uncertainty. We've probably had the worst year of our lives, but we've survived. And that's what counts. If you want to do a vision board your way that's perfect for menopausal women like us, free from pressure, free from self-improvement BS, go get it here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.